What is going on, good people? What's going on? What's going on? All right, I see my man Turf in the building. I appreciate y'all for hopping over. Let me go ahead and get this chat going over here on my phone real quick. Man, I was so hoping that Turf's watermelon was gonna be right. I was hoping for it. So he actually told the crew about that earlier today. So we've been sitting on pins and needles to see how that was going to turn out. I was hoping it was going to turn out for him, but at least it was still good. He said it was still good. What's good? What's good, PJ, Miss Craft, Q? What's going on, Will? How you doing, Angela? Everyday life of a OCD-ish chick. How you doing over there? And I know you're up here in Maryland too. How you doing over there? Everything good? What's going on, Mr. Stinky Puddle Ranch? Let me get this over here going real quick. So just to I see people popping in. Just to cover what we're going to talk about today, like I'm going to be full transparent. I'm going to give y'all some information on what's going on in my yard, kind of reveal some stuff that maybe you might not have known about the yard. So I'm going to get in there and I'm going to give y'all all the insight. And then on top of that, we're going to talk about some of the things that I'm preparing for, some of the things that I've got going on that I see coming. And then drop some information on y'all. And maybe you may be in some of these situations, and it might be able to help y'all out. So, yeah, tune in with me. That's what we're gonna talk about here. As you can see, what the title is throwing shade in the struggles. So, as I said earlier, I was like, yeah, we're gonna be full transparent. I'm gonna let y'all know when the good, the bad, and hopefully not so much of the ugly, but we're gonna get into all of it, and I'm gonna let y'all know. All right, let me get to my channel real quick. All right. So, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and hey, what's going on, Vince? How's it going, man? I appreciate you stopping by. We're gonna get into some of this long talk here in a little bit. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it a little bit. First question that came in, what kind of so I joke a lot about, like, I've got the NTEP trials of Maryland location here at my place, because I've got three different grass seeds actually in my lawn right now. So my backyard is GCI tall fescue mixed with Blue Bank Kentucky bluegrass. So that's the mixture that I've got in my backyard, which you see a lot of pictures of the fenced in area in my backyard. My test plot over on the side, that is Mountain View seed, tall fescue, lateral spread blend over there. And in my front main section, what you saw in the Battle of the Stripes video, that has not been fully renovated. That is a whole bunch of old cultivars of old grass, tall fescue, and some bluegrass mixed in there. It's some rye that's mixed in there. Whatever was here previously. And then I overseeded for the first year last fall with the GCI tall fescue, same as what I've got in my back, but I didn't mix in any Kentucky bluegrass. So I'm holding on the front yard. It surprised me this year. Like, it's looked real good this year without me doing a full renovation. So I may hold that and not do a full renovation on it just yet. I think I'm gonna give it another year, just so I can show people that if they don't want to do a full renovation, it's going to take some time. It's going to take a couple of years of working at it, but you can get a very nice lawn without having to do a full renovation. But you're just going to have to be patient, and you're going to have to get a soil test and fix your deficiencies. So that's what I've been doing, and I contribute what the lawn looks like to now, to fixing my deficiencies in my soil, and also a high quality seed and caring for it. So that's you can do it. You can do it. So yeah, those are the seeds that I'm using. 3 different types of seeds that I've got, but that's what I'm using now. All right, let's see PJ in here. All right, so at this point, I think I'm gonna go ahead and get into it, and kind of show y'all what I'm working with. So this whole video is gonna be about the struggles of growing grass in shade. I know that there's a lot of people that have asked me, like, Cam, how do you grow your grass in all that shade? Like, it's heavily shaded. I can't get my grass to grow. The thing is, it's a challenge and it is a struggle. One of the things that people don't realize is, even if you raise the canopy up in your area, wherever it is, the thing is that when it rains, and then when it rains heavy, those water droplets are so heavy that they just beat down on that grass that's below it, especially if it's new, especially if it's like within that first year. It is a struggle because it has not gotten the same amount of sun. It's just been struggling, like, just to mature and harden off, as we call it. So with that, one of the things is that last year I did do a full renovation, or was it 2 years ago? I did a full renovation. So going through it last year, I probably lost 70% of that renovation, wiped out. And the reason I'm going live to give you this information is, this is about the time that it happened. It started happening about a week or so after July 4th. During July 4th, when I was making that mow, I could see signs of heavy disease pressure, heavy dieback, and a lot of those things. So I didn't change my cultural practices then. I've learned a lot over the fall. So I've been looking forward to this time to be able to implement all the information that I learned, which is what happens in lawn care. Like, you've got to continue to learn. You've got to continue to learn your lawn. The same thing with the garden. Like, you've got to continue to learn the lay of your land. So when you start to get into those heavy disease pressure times, especially if you're dealing with heavy shade, one of the things that I implemented this year is I have a lower height of cut. So last year I was cutting at 4 1/4 in a heavily shaded area, which was just holding water, holding moisture. The grass was just laying over. It wasn't mature, and I paid the price last year. So one of the things we're going to do is, I'm going to get ready to share my screen, and we're going to walk through a progression of what happened last year. All right. Go ahead and share this. How does that look for y'all? Does that look okay? All right. Cool. I think I have switched over. All right, cool. So looking at this, this is what we're dealing with. Heavy tree cover. And then there's also trees back further behind me that you can't see. But that whole back section of my lawn is under heavy tree cover. It really never gets any sun. It gets sporadic sun here and there, but the area back here in the back is definitely heavily shaded. So these were actually pictures that I took yesterday. If you're following me on IG, you probably saw these already. If not, hey, check me out on IG. Elevated Lawnscapes is where you can find me. I kind of post a little bit more stuff there, a little more recent than my videos, just because it's just easier. So you want more information, keep up with me some more, check me out over there on IG. So yeah, we're looking good. We're looking good right now. I'm not complaining too much, but it looks pretty good right now. So this is where we're at currently. Everything is looking pretty solid. Not a whole lot of issues, but I will say at this point last year, I was in the same boat. So as you can see here, this is July 12th. Last year, we were looking good. We were looking pretty doggone good. And I was happy with where we were and how things were looking. And then we will progress a little over 2 weeks, close to 2 weeks. And then disease pressure starts to set in. I did put out a preventative. I was running propiconazole and azoxystrobin. I will say my mistake is that I wasn't rotating them adequately enough. So I'm pretty sure that I probably had a little bit of brown patch pop up in there. But what I identified is that I actually had Pythium. So at this point, that was a quick deterioration from July 12th to here. So given that, that is when, looking back after I identified what disease I had, I now know that it was Pythium. So we will move to a little while later. This is here on August the 2nd. Again, it is continuing to spread. And I had been watering, which I learned was the worst thing that I could have been doing with Pythium, because with Pythium, it is actually a fungus that is able to travel through water sources. So the more water that you have, it just allows that fungus and that disease to spread even quicker. So as you can see, we're continuing to go downhill, and I still have not identified at this point that it's Pythium. I did go out with the curative rates of the claries, the azoxystrobin, and also the propiconazole. But the thing is none of those fungicides actually address Pythium. So for Pythium, mexanoxam is one of the active ingredients that you need to look for. That is also found in Subdue Max. So that is Subdue Max is a brand name, trade name that you can get. You can actually find it active ingredient lower, not the name brand Subdue Max, but you can also find that on Do My Own. So if you do identify that you may have Pythium, yes, you should get on that ASAP, because Pythium is one of those funguses that will wipe your lawn out very quickly. So progression, August 12th or July 12th, we're looking great. July 27th, this is where we're at. Starting to see it, starting to come in. August 12th, now we have larger sections that you're just seeing it go downhill. And then we add 15 days later, and this is where we're at. I mean, it is decimated. And then we continue on, and this is kind of where we end up at August 12th or August 20th. So this was my transparency. There was a little bit of this in my 2020 recap video. I did show some of this, but I had not went into the detail of what happened. So one of the things is I want to be able to provide this information to the community. I want to be able to let you guys know that looking for disease pressure and addressing disease pressure is a very important thing. If you were like me, you've done your fall renovation or you did your fall overseeding all spring, like you've been fertilizing, you've been cutting, you've been enjoying it, you've been caring for that lawn. Now is not the time to give up. PJ over at Girls Lawn, she actually did a video on her daily walkthrough. That is something that I do also. I do a daily walkthrough on the lawn. I mean, I'll grab a cup of coffee or a bottle of water, and when I get up, I make my first stop at the garden, walk through the garden, take a peek at it, see how everything's going, and I walk the lawn. I'm getting in, I'm monitoring the moisture level in it. I'm monitoring if I'm seeing any new brown patches coming up. Just taking an overall evaluation of the lawn. So the quicker you can hop on these diseases and be able to identify them and get them addressed, which you can reference my man Polo over there at Polo Fields Lawn Service. He just released a video, not this past weekend, but the previous weekend, helping you to identify those diseases in your lawn. So if you're able to identify them quickly, you can get out, apply fungicides, and get them knocked out. And that's the thing, is being able to get on top of them quickly. So I wanted to be transparent. This is some of the things that I've done, that I experienced last year. So what I'm doing this year to address that or try to mitigate that as much as possible, because just like now, we've got a tropical storm on the way that's coming. We're going to get a couple of days, maybe a day or two worth of rain. We're going to keep getting these evening thunderstorms that are going to come. Lawn's going to stay wet. So Cam, what do you do? I've reduced my height of cut. So last year I told you I was cutting at 4 1/4. This year I'm actually cutting at 3 inches in the back. So I'm a whole 1 1/4 lower than what I was last year. Reason for that is it's heavily shaded. It's not going to have the full sun beating down on it. So it doesn't need to be as tall. Second reason for doing that is airflow. So now I can get more airflow through the canopy of the lawn to help it dry out as much as possible, reducing that disease pressure. So I'm gonna pause right there. I see a couple of questions over in the chat. So I'm gonna make sure that I address some of those real quick before we go any further. All right. I'm glad you were able to join, Lynette. Thanks for joining. Good information. Yeah, definitely, CR. Yeah, I learned a lot about Pythium. I learned more than I wanted to know about Pythium. And right now, even when I went to the turf supply store last week, I was talking to the guy in there. And of course, I was talking through fungicides and groups and all of this. He was like, man, no, I don't get very many people that come in that know their information like this. I was like, I've learned from experience. So yeah, man, I've learned a lot about it. Some diseases and fungus are not able to travel like through water, but Pythium is one of those. The most other funguses, they actually travel through spores, so they can be spread like through the air and all of that. But Pythium is a little different. Pythium is a different breed. So hey, what's going on there, Princess Cut? Hey, appreciate you joining, George. All right, thank you. All right, now we know what to look for. Yep. Okay. All right. Boom. Here was one of the questions, Miss Craft. Um, Pythium is equal opportunity, but it is higher in cool season lawns. You will find this probably more likely in a cool season lawn. Warm season lawns will have their specific types of funguses that they are um, more so capable of getting, which like fairy ring is one that definitely gets into warm season lawns more than cool season lawns. So you can get it, but it's less likely over in the warm season lawn grass types. All right, so what did I do to prevent it? So first thing that I just talked about was height of cut, reducing my height of cut, and making sure that I was trying to get as much airflow through there as possible. Second thing is after heavy rains, you will see, like if you're under heavy tree cover, you will see that the lawn is going to be matted down. Like it's going to be matted down to the ground, just because of those water droplets are so heavy from coming up above off of the trees. So what I've started doing, which could seem a little anal, it could seem a little extra, but the thing is, I've put a lot of work into this, so I don't mind putting in a little extra effort to save it and try to keep it alive. So after heavy rains, I'm not talking like sprinkling or a little shower, but if you've got heavy rain and you walk out and you see that the lawn or that grass is actually matted down and laying flat and kind of matted up, grab your backpack blower or grab your hand blower, whatever you blow your driveways off with, and lightly blow that turf up. So you don't want it to lay flat and matted against that moist soil, and it's just holding moisture. It is going to die. It's just there's no question about it. It is going to die. So what I've started doing is after heavy rains, I'll just go ahead and grab my backpack blower. I'll let it dry a little bit, and then I'll grab my backpack blower, go out, blow that turf up, make sure it's standing up as much as possible, and you can see it changing after about a day. Like depending on how warm it is the next day, I've literally seen it go from looking yellowish and kind of matted up to like that afternoon. If it was a really warm day, that afternoon, it's back to looking green. It's back standing up as much as possible. That is just the thing that it has to have airflow. And growing grass, you can't grow grass in water. Like it just doesn't happen. So you want to try to dry that soil out as much as possible to help prevent these diseases and try to help keep their lawn alive as long as possible. And right now, all I say is this is one of those times that I'm strapped in. Like these are the 3 hardest months on cool season lawns, and I'm just trying to hold on as long as possible. We've got about a month and a half left till we get into overseeding time, and then we can fix any issues that come up. But we're trying to keep it green all year. Like we're just trying to have to do a minor overseeding. But the thing is that you definitely need to have proper planning. Make sure that you're paying attention to your lawn. And I say a lot of times, people pay attention to your lawn, pay attention to your lawn. So those daily walks, you'll be able to see what's going on in your lawn as it's changing so you can react quicker. All right, so those are 2 of the things that I've done. Height of cut adjustment, blowing your turf up or standing it up. If you don't have a backpack blower, lightly raking it will work also. I've done that in areas. I'm not saying raking it really hard like you're trying to rake up leaves. You just want to stand it back up and make sure it's not laid over and matted down. That's just one of the things that help it dry out and try to prevent some of that disease from setting in. So we've covered those 2 things. The third thing is fungicides. So making sure that I'm a believer in putting down a preventative fungicide if I know that I have the potential to be able to get it. So I know from last year that I have the potential to get Pythium. And Pythium is one of the most deadly and quick acting fungicides that are, or funguses that are out there. So I've discussed what fungicides I use. Subdue Max, the active ingredient in that is mefenoxam. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And that is the one. If you're dealing with Pythium or you think you may get it, that's your solution. Please, people, get on it quickly because I've already showed you what could happen. If you're dealing with dollar spot, brown patch, those kind of diseases in there, you can definitely knock those out with propiconazole or azoxystrobin. At this time of year, one of the things that's not really known about propiconazole is that it is actually almost like a growth regulator. So it will slow some of the growth down as you apply that product. So if you do go out with that, you do want to be rotating your active ingredients. So if it comes back around, maybe if you're dealing with immediately, if you want to go out and you see that you've got an active fungus, active disease, Polo has definitely talked about some of those fungicides that you can get in to go ahead and knock those out. So go over, check his video out. For brown patch, dollar spot, a lot of those things, you can get them with propiconazole or azoxystrobin or a combination of the two. So just make sure you look it up. Label is law. Label is law. Make sure that you go down with whatever your label rates are, and make sure that you identify what disease you have first before just blindly throwing out any product. So just make sure that they're on the label for what fungus you're addressing. What's going on, David? Hey, man, I appreciate you joining us. Hey, growing with Greg. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. What's going on there, Trini? All right, so we got those two things taken care of. Right now, those are three things. So we went through how to cut. We went through making sure that we were covering fungicides. That was our third thing. And then we want to make sure that we're blowing that turf up, making sure we're keeping it from getting matted down. I think there's another thing in there that goes along a little bit with the fungicides, which is something that I've been using. I've talked to some people in the industry about it that have kind of put me on to this, which is phosphites. So I have been running phosphites on my lawn, which this is my first year. I talked to some people and kind of let them know, some professionals, and let them know what I had going on last year regarding Pythium. So one of their recommendations was, you were hit that hard with Pythium, you definitely need to be running phosphites this year as soon as or just before you see the disease pressure starting to happen. So I've actually been running phosphites on my lawn since May. And with that, I've seen some nice color. I don't know if that was supposed to happen, but I did talk to some people and I was like, yeah, you have the potential for that. But I think the thing is that I was deficient in potassium anyway. So getting that little bit of pop on there was definitely good for the lawn. So running phosphites, that is, there's two parts to that. So being able to, it helps with the stress on the plant, and it also can stimulate a immune, if you want to call it a immune system, the defense system in the plant. So it actually causes the plant to think that it's under attack, and it strengthens that and it heightens the immune system of the plant, if you want to call it. So that's one of the things that I've been running, which has been the phosphites, and I'm hoping we'll see. I'm gonna be fully transparent, and we'll see if all the 4 things that I've told you that I've implemented into my program this year, if they're gonna help me. Right now, things are looking good. I feel like they're all working. The lawn looks amazing right now. I can tell that it's battling. Like it is definitely battling. And with these late evening rains that are gonna start coming, it's gonna be one of those things that it's gonna be a constant battle from now till we get into really August. Things start to dry out a little bit in August, and we just kind of get that dry heat with very little rain. So if you do have a shaded area and you're dealing with like a cool season lawn, just make sure one of the things is you probably don't need to be watering very much. I have not watered my backyard, the section that is in the shade, all season. I haven't watered it at all season, and it's still holding more moisture than the one section that's over in full sun. So with that, like that goes to show that if you have an area that is in heavy shade, it's going to hold moisture for a long period of time. So just make sure that if you do have areas that are heavily shaded, don't push the water in those areas. I've been trying to keep those as dry as possible. All right, let me jump over here in the chat, see if y'all got it. So if y'all have any questions, just definitely pop them over in the chat. We'll kind of talk through them. We got a couple of people in here that can help us walk through them if I don't have the answers. But yeah, just pop those questions over in the chat if you got any. So yeah, my man David over here dropping that knowledge on us right here. So yeah, that's the deal with phosphites. So we're on the same page, and that's exactly what it does. Is it triggers to make the plant think that it's under attack. So then there goes the immune system. So yep, we're all in agreement. Yeah. So David he's been running phosphites too. I don't know. He might have been keeping that a little bit of a secret. I found out he was running phosphites too. And as far as which ones I'm running, I am using the ones from Helena. So they call that Phosphite Max. So it's a 0030 for the phosphite. Cool. Just want to say thank you for the crash course, learning with a new lawn. Hey man, it is all I say is when you got a new lawn, just know it's gonna take some effort. It's gonna take some work. That's where my slogan comes from. And then we took it on to the whole we working team because it's gonna take some work. It's gonna take some patience, and you're gonna learn. Like I'm still learning now. I don't claim to know it all. I don't say that I know it all. Because it's if you stop learning, the lawn and Mother Nature will throw you a curveball real quick. So yeah, man, just keep learning, get out there, make sure that you're doing some additional research, do your own research. And that's what I like to try to encourage people to do is when you find out these things, I mean, even from what I'm telling you now, like if you've never heard of phosphites, go look it up. Trust but verify. Go look it up. Go do your own research. I don't claim to know it all, but I've learned from experience, and I've done some research on it to know that this is something that is definitely a benefit to do. Yeah, David. The other good thing that I like about the Helena one is that it also has it's heavy in kelp, so it's heavy in kelp on in that one too. So I think that's where the color response is coming from. I think when I see that color pop after applications, I think that's more so coming from the heavy kelp that's in there. Oh yeah, definitely. Delaware is definitely, yeah. You're right across the street. So yeah, we're yeah, climates and zones are going to be pretty similar. I think for both of us. All right, so I ain't gonna hold everybody too long. If anybody has any questions or anything, just pop them in. If not, we're just gonna hang out for a little bit, and we'll get ready to get out of here just to see if anybody pops anything in there. Um, but yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna keep y'all posted. Again, follow me on IG if you're not. Um, and then at that point you can see my progress, and you can see how things are going. I have been keeping up with my fungicide applications, and on the phosphites I am actually applying phosphites every 14 days. So I'm on a 14-day interval for my phosphite applications, and I alternate that with my Mexanoxum, which is the subdue max, which is for the Pythium. And then I'll throw in there every 21 days, I'll go down with either my azoxystrobin or my propiconazole. So just make sure that you're rotating your fungicides. That's the important thing. If you just stick with one fungicide all the way through the season, you have the potential of the disease actually building a resistance. So make sure you're rotating your groups of your fungicides. Miss Craft, how's the garden going? The garden is going good. The garden is good. I was just out there yesterday feeding everything, so gave everything some of that 511. And then I gave my heavy feeders, tomatoes, and all of that. I gave that a little granular to give it a little boost because I hadn't fed it in a while. And then the other thing is, wifey is actually out there planting some stuff right now. So we're getting ready for the fall. We're getting stuff together, getting our lettuce and stuff in place. So yeah, garden's going good. I'll probably post a picture tomorrow on my YouTube page. But yeah, everything's going good. What's going on, Zach? Hey man, appreciate you popping in. We were starting to wrap up. We just talked about something that you really don't have to worry about because you're wide open. We're talking about growing grass in like shaded areas. Some of the struggles and the downfalls of actually having to grow grass in the shade. It's definitely a challenge. So I've heard a lot of people kind of ask me about that. I was like, Cam, how are you growing it? I struggle. It's a struggle. You got to stay on top of it. I say it all the time. I will take full sun any day over having to grow grass in the shade. Reason is I can add more water to the soil. Once water's in the soil, I can't take it back out. And when it's heavily shaded, that moisture just stays in the soil and it just holds it there. Can't grow grass in water. Like I will take full sun growing turf any given day. And you ever seen a side farm that was heavily shaded or had shade cover? Nope. All right, so yeah, this is Armada. So Dave, look into it. I've heard of both of those, Armada and Pillar. Um, I will look into those because I'm looking for something else to add in. I've also been started looking at Eagle because for this period of time, I'm actually looking for something else to substitute that propiconazole for. I want to find a substitute for that. So I'm actually looking for something else. So yeah, I'll check those two out. Cool. Love knows full son. Good points. Yeah. Cool. All right, everybody. That is all I've got. I don't see anything else that's popped in here in the chat. So pay attention to your lawn, people. Pay attention to your lawn. And the thing that I say is take those walks. Like make sure you're making your rounds, walk your lawn. The quicker you can get on any disease pressure, the quicker you can identify it, you can help eliminate those issues that I had to go through. And that's one of the things is that we're entering into that period. This is probably about to be the heaviest disease pressure from now until it's actually overseeding and renovation time. And when that happens, we'll all be back in good shape. We can fix it. As y'all can see, y'all saw what my lawn looked like at the end of last year. And now you see where it is now. It can be fixed. It's just grass. It can be fixed. And having a cool season lawn, you'd have to look at it for maybe a month or so, and it might not look as good. But as soon as you get out there, do your aerate and do your overseeding, you can have it right back to where it was and have it looking good. So yeah, make sure that y'all are taking your walks, making sure that you are getting prepared for the fall also. So from a seed choice standpoint, making sure you're picking out that good quality seed. Now is the time to start preparing for that. If you have a specific type of seed that you want to use or that you have in mind to use, make sure that you're getting a hold of it. There may be some shortages out there for certain seeds, certain brands. If you are particular about exactly what seed you want to have. So like I said, now it's time to start preparing. Make sure you're getting ready for your overseeding in the fall on your cool season lawns. And if you like my man Dave down there in Texas and you got a warm season yard, hey, just enjoy the mow because it's growing right now. It loves that hot temperature. So if you got a warm season lawn, enjoy it right now. Stay up with your cutting, stay up with your fertilizing, and now is your time. Right now for cool season, we just trying to hold on. We riding a roller coaster right now. We just trying to hold on and get to the end of August. All right, y'all. I think that is it. That's all I've got. I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. Stinky Putter Ranch, I appreciate you. I appreciate that comment. Yeah, man, we just trying to provide some information. That's all. I mean, we're just trying to. What knowledge I have, I'm willing to share. Thanks, Ms. Craft. We did get a question in. What about weed management? Wait till the fall. I'm in NY. I'm not sure what your temperatures are up there. You may be a little cooler than what we are down here. But we just, it's funny, we just had the same conversation with Turf earlier. And we were talking about weeds. I'm done spraying weeds. I'm done spraying weeds. I have no desire to spray any weeds right now. For one, it's too hot. And if you do go out and spray them as early as you can in the morning. And you don't want to spray anything ester based this time of year. So make sure you're not spraying a ester based herbicide if you do go out and spray any weeds right now. But from my standpoint, I'm really done treating weeds. We're kind of strapped in. I don't want to ding any of my good grass right now because it's already under a stressful period of time, and add on that pressure and that stress of a fungicide. If the weeds are that bad, you need more. You're probably going to need more than just a spot spray. So if the weeds are that bad, I say right now I'm letting weeds ride. I don't have any in my lawn right now. The lawns that I'm helping people with, they don't have any weeds in them right now. I am a big proponent of dealing with weeds in early spring, maybe late fall. I don't really like doing it in the fall because I've normally just overseeded, and I want that grass, that new grass, to establish and root development as much as possible. So for me, I focus on weed control in the spring. I hit it hard in the spring. I get my pre-emergence out. I clean up anything that's there. I'm a fan of Speed Zone, which is an ester base, which you can spray it earlier on when temperatures are a little cooler. You can get you a couple of applications in, making sure you're following your label rate and your overall season rate also. And then normally once we get into like this time of year, July, August, it's just too hot and a little risky in my boat. So if you do it, I would try to stay away from anything ester based. Spray it as early as you can in the morning. Try to do it when the weather and the temperatures are like kind of on a cool down period. Most herbicides don't recommend being sprayed above 85. There are some, but most of them, that 85 degree is the threshold. All right, so I think I got everybody. I think I got all the questions taken care of. All right, thank y'all for joining. I appreciate it. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. I am working on another video. I did just drop one on the 4th of July. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. We've just covering some watering and some irrigation. Just something simple. Doesn't have to be very complicated just to be able to get it done. So I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate y'all. Just know we work.